Good morning, El Paso, and welcome back. Or should I say, welcome me back, or whatever. So, I went on a little hiatus since October, and I'm starting back up the podcast, which this was actually my original plan to start this year. But toward the end of the year, there's actually a lot of events. So I really can't miss out on trying to talk about some of the events that go on toward the end of the year. But as you can see, I kind of failed at that. And I'm actually trying to get back at it right now. And this time I'm here for good. So we're going to try to hit it this time heavy. So, yeah, welcome to the new and improved, but actually kind of old AMP El Paso podcast. This is your Art Millennium podcast. And this time, I'm going to be honest. So, I knew it was going to be really hard for me to start it around October because I was actually truck driving. I've lived in El Paso my whole life, technically, but I had actually been truck driving for the past few years. So it honestly kind of made it really difficult. And I did it to myself, really, which it was kind of difficult to, come on, do a podcast from home while you're a truck driver. I know it's not the smartest idea, but there's just a lot of things going around in El Paso, and there's a lot of things that are starting up in El Paso, and I want to help out, and I want to let people know that there's a lot of stuff going on out there, and I want to be able to go to all these things, and hopefully with this growth that is going on in El Paso, even more people will come and will start their own stuff. There's a lot of really, really talented people here in El Paso and Juarez, and I really think this is the real beginning, and everybody was really excited about the new year. So happy 2020, and I was excited, and it seemed online and just the vibe. It just seemed like a lot of people were excited. Hopefully that hasn't died down. I know I'm actually close to the tail end of January here, but yeah, hopefully that's still going on. And if you made all your resolutions or whatever, I don't typically make resolutions, but if you make your resolutions, that's cool. I'm not gonna judge. Maybe just a little bit, but not really. Yeah, you got to do things that you like. So yeah, this time I'm back for good. Like I said, I didn't really want to say that I was truck driving. It just seems kind of weird for me. Probably not for anybody. El Paso, from what I've known, it is a heavy trucking town. So, I'm not ashamed of it or anything, but it's something that, I don't know, I guess try to keep it private or whatever. Plus, I don't want to fail people who started listening to this podcast. A lot of listeners from when they started or something like that. They might start, to go with the podcast, and then if it starts getting good, then they'll keep listening. And I actually kind of just stopped, and I didn't really say anything. I have been trying to keep posting on my Facebook, which is, I thought, my primary one. And I actually did change where I was recording. I used to be recording in this little work tool room that I have. And today I'm actually here with my dogs. You probably just heard one of my dogs. And I actually kind of emboldened up a little bit and wanted to be here in the living room next to the AC and all the stuff that could actually potentially ruin my podcast. Or with my dogs just barking at random, just noises outside. But new year, new whatever, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Again, this is the AMP El Paso podcast. That is Art Millennium podcast. You can find me if you haven't found me already, or if you want to recommend me to other people, which I really need, to actually try to help people find events too. This is actually why I'm doing this, to encourage people to go out. I do feel like some of the events that I have talked about kind of establish. They're already kind of established, and there's people, they already have their audience and everything. But I want to encourage more people to go out and everything. That's the original idea behind this podcast. And like I used to say, a lot of people would say that there's not a lot of stuff to do in El Paso, and I don't find that to be true. Right now, the weather, especially right now, I'm recording this here toward the middle of the day on Tuesday, and the past few days were beautiful. Yesterday was gorgeous during the day, and today it's cold, and it's raining, and it's miserable outside. And it's slippery. So, on my day off, I'm actually not able to go outside and do anything because the weather's horrible. But, might as well enjoy it, because we all know in the middle of the summer, we're all going to be miserable. We're all going to be burning up, and we're going to be dying. So, pick your poison, I guess. In El Paso, this is actually pretty nice. Even with this cold weather, you can still go out and do stuff and kind of enjoy the day. Not unlike some of the places, up north where, it's just pretty horrible. I do like some snow. I'm still trying to go snowboarding up here to either Cloudcroft or Ruidoso here at Ski Apache, but we still haven't gotten a chance to do that. Like I said, I just switched from my job. I actually got something very smart where I'm actually going to be working weekends, which is kind of perfect when you think about it for my podcast, because I talk about events that happen around the weekends. And my smart decision was, hey, you know what? Let me just ask to work those days. It was just a smart decision on my part. But I'm still going to try to go to some of these events, actually. But I'll certainly talk about them. And I'll, every once in a while, I'll be able to get a weekend off. And hopefully I'll be able to start getting a team here. That way I could start posting pictures or live stuff during events that happen. That way you guys could keep going. And hopefully start seeing people go out a little bit more and more. Not that these events are lacking in any of that. It's actually pretty cool when I've had the chance to go to a lot of these events, either be it farmers market, night markets, or little concerts, or whatever it really may be. It's always a good time, and there's always enough people. There's always a lot of people out and about. There's always a lot of people buying and supporting local artists, which here in El Paso, I think it's still something very up and coming. We're from what I've seen, I feel like we're developing kind of our own personality as far as art. Kind of how like an artist develops their craft, I feel like El Paso is going through that. We're kind of figuring out how that, what kind of art is, and what kind of events to promote, and just kind of people figuring out, and and El Paso is actually very supportive. Not that I've ever doubted that. And it's, like I said, it's one of the things why I love El Paso, and I know why so many people are so proud of this city. And I think that's a big part of it. That since we're so proud, we're kind of stuck in our ways, and we're always we're very proud of what we do. So that sometimes it doesn't allow you to want to change things. But that's actually pretty positive to want to change something and encourage others to either follow your lead, or maybe follow your lead in the sense of also being inspired by whatever that you do that involves that art, and then that'll probably inspire them to start their own, pretty much. I don't know how you could say. I mean, it'll just inspire them to follow their version of art, and that's something that is just inherent to the art process, which is you maybe go out to a concert or you go out to a show, or even seeing something like, hey, you maybe see something even at a store, something that you see at a store. There's a lot of things that I see at a lot of these farmers markets and night markets, which is when you maybe go to a store, and the thing about a store is everything is mass produced, and that's why people that focus on unique items or things that are created by local artists, things such as furniture or maybe things that you could wear and things like that. It's something that you can actually count on that it wasn't something that was mass produced. One of the last events that I really wanted to go to, and that actually we ended up going to, was Krampus Fest. My girlfriend hadn't seen that, and we actually ended up going. And she really didn't know what it was. And Krampus Fest, like I said, it's one of those things that obviously it's not insanely popular here in our beautiful city, but it is actually pretty cool. And we actually ended up getting a few things at Krampus Fest that weren't specifically related to Krampus Fest. I actually got this thing for my badge at work, where it's the little clip, the little retractable string thing. And it was gorgeous. I mean, I probably post a picture of it here on Twitter or on the AMP El Paso Facebook page. But it's one of the coolest things that I've gotten, and it's a very, very small detail, very small purchase. But it's actually really cool because I get to take it into work every day, and I just feel cool wearing it. It's a little holder thing, and it's got the Texas flag, Texas shape. It's got a little star, and I mean it's retractable, so it's pretty convenient. And that was actually my favorite thing that I got there at the Krampus Fest. And my girl, she got some other stuff for her dad. She got a luchador, I think it was a pin, and it was. I mean, and all that stuff is handmade, which, come on, that's just cool. You're helping somebody. You're getting something pretty unique. I mean, these people that make their handmade items usually, I mean, they don't usually make, it's, you can count that it's not mass produced, which is the thing that I think is important. And it's pretty unique. I mean, the version of mass produced in a farmer's market would be what? 10 maybe of the same item. And even then, it's not going to be the exact same item. And the thing that you should come to enjoy, or I think, you could take whatever perspective you want on this. The thing that I kind of enjoy about something that is homemade is, I'm going to sound really Ron Swanson-esque right here, but it's the little flaws or things that you can see where it was actually handmade. And you'll probably, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm assuming you're familiar with Parks and Rec. And there's a scene where Ron destroys this chair that he made. I mean, it was handmade, obviously, and he destroys it, and he says that it was too perfect or something like that. And that's just the exact kind of point that I'm trying to make. That whenever you can buy something at a farmer's market, even if it's one of the things that I want to get into would be furniture that you could buy, and what is the word, like renewed? I know that's not the word, but I'm not going to try to figure out what the word is and be stuck on it and lose 5 minutes of this podcast. But yeah, it's basically either buying just old furniture at either garage sales or auctions or whatever it may be, and you basically just repaint it, sand it down, and maybe add a little detail to it, and you can sell that as your art. And some of the things we actually did some of that here at the house. I enjoy going to the flea markets here a flea market is cool in the sense that you'll probably buy old furniture, and it's similar to a farmer's market, but with pretty obvious differences. I mean, in a farmer's market, you could find fruit and stuff like that, and that's the vibe. At a flea market, what I enjoy is that pretty much what you're expecting. And I know not only here in El Paso, but in a lot of places, if you do go to swap meets, flea markets, or anything like that, one of the problems that we do see all over the place is that people want to sell stuff pretty much as if it was new. And, as somebody who's going to these flea markets or something, you know kind of where you're going, and sometimes the people selling these things want to kind of jack the price up a little bit. And but that's a beautiful thing about a flea market, which is you could haggle a little bit there. It's obviously acceptable. You can't be doing that some big store, or even a small store or whatever. But yeah, even maybe at a secondhand store, sometimes they'll even hook you up where you'll buy stuff really cheap and things like that. And if you try to do that, try to go to local secondhand stores. Garage sales are always good. One of my neighbors actually here has a garage sale pretty often. Not right now. She hasn't had a garage sale in a while from what I've seen. But like I said, since I've been working weekends, I don't really know if I'm just missing out on them because I'm at work. But yeah, plus the weather's been kind of weird right now. It is in the mornings. It has been cold, and that's a very good time for garage sales. And obviously with this cold weather, and right now, with the rain, as if the weather wasn't enough, just being cold, especially here in El Paso, we're not insanely used to really cold weather. The rain just makes it a lot worse. It's more of a pain, I think, and I do understand that if you just don't want to deal with the rain, if you don't want to step on puddles and get your pants wet or whatever. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like I said, and again, that's one of the things that makes El Paso really beautiful. It's one of the things that makes this city really comfortable. I think that's why people are kind of in a good mood. Obviously, except when they're driving, But I think that's just everywhere, really. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. I've already been rambling on for half of my podcast already. So yeah, if you're going to look for the podcast, if you haven't already found it, you could find it as AMP El Paso, and that's actually how you will be able to find it on all three of the platforms that I try to use. I am trying to get an Instagram. I know I was pretty late, and as a millennial, I guess I failed because I'm not all up in the social media scope, I guess. But I think those are still the pretty prevalent ones. But like I said, I am trying to figure out Instagram. And I also got a new phone. I had my last phone for a really long time, and it was just really time to get a new one. And it was working perfectly fine. Everything works fine on it. It kind of doesn't charge sometimes. So instead of wanting to mess with either a different cable or trying to get it fixed, I was like, you know what? I need a new phone. Plus, when I compared my old phone to the new one, just the graphics were insane. And I was like, yeah, I was due for an upgrade. So I got a new phone, and it has a little bit more memory in it, so I could download a couple extra apps. And one of the ones that I do know I need to download, especially for things such as farmers market or night markets or anything like that, I feel like Instagram, which is primarily just pictures, or obviously, right? I'm showing kind of my literacy here on apps. Man, I guess we're all feeling that, right? Are we all starting to feel old? What are we, all 90s, late 80s? This is millennials? Are you millennial listening to this, right? So you know what I'm saying. Except you're probably better at apps than I am. So you probably don't understand. Anyway, yeah. So you're probably start seeing little glimpses of that where, we're not a spring chicken anymore. We're starting to get old. Ya estamos viejitos. Well, not really, but I think we're kind of getting there, right? So, yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Again, you'll be able to find the podcast at AMP El Paso on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube, which is where I'll put this. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing SoundCloud. I do like that it's really easy, and it's really it's very user friendly, and it's very drag and drop kind of thing. And that's actually kind of the beautiful thing about just making a podcast, that I really don't have to worry about adding video or anything to it. Like I said, I'm going to start this year, 2020. It's going to be better. I'm obviously going to be able to invest a lot more time with it. I could pretty much spend the whole day today doing this, and I could use as an excuse that the weather outside it kind of sucks, and I could just devote my whole day to this. But it's going to be a slow process. I'm going to let it take its kind of organic, natural course, as it is with all these farmers markets and stuff. We all try to be organic. We all try to be healthy and stuff. So I'm going to do my podcast, make it grow the exact same way, because it just makes sense, right? Yeah. Anyway, so let's get started. We're going to get started. Like I said, today it is Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. And this week I am going to start as I usually do, or I usually did. I'm going to start with the events following this week, which is going to be this next weekend. And I'm going to start with an extra day on Thursday, as I try to do. Maybe eventually, if I start finding a few days where it's better suited, I'll try to add more days in there. Maybe Mondays. We'll check out what's going on Mondays right now. And Mondays everybody wants to be home and stuff, which it makes perfect sense, right? If it's your first day back at work and your life sucks, so you just want to get home after work. I do have a couple crazy coworkers that would like to go for drinks on Mondays, which businesses got to make their money. So if you go out, just be careful, don't drink and drive, because all the bad stuff, especially with this crazy weather. Just drink at home, invite some buddies over, or Uber. Just support your local Uber drivers, right? How's that for an ad? Support local Uber drivers. Local Uber, yeah. Is it a multi-million, or is it billion now? So yeah, so we're gonna start with Thursday. That is January the 23rd, going on a Friday 24th, Saturday 25th, Sunday 26th, and then we'll take a peek on Monday. Obviously, it's the beginning of the year. We are all partied out from the end of the year. So maybe, there's not a lot of stuff going on, really. We got to take it slow here. You're still struggling with your resolutions. Are you still at the gym? Are you still going to start eating healthy? Or this is where it starts whittling down, right? Where you're like, you know what? I'm not going to do this for the next 11 months. I'm actually doing it. But like I said, I didn't put the label of it actually being a resolution. I'm just kind of doing it, and I do feel better. And I encourage you to do it. It is hard, but I encourage you to do it. Especially you could find all this awesome fresh stuff at farmers markets. So why not? Come on. It's 2020. Just do it. What is that? Nike? All right. So let's go ahead and get started. January 3rd, January 23rd, Thursday. So let's see. Yeah, we don't have a lot of stuff going on. So this is actually it's actually going on now, and that is actually at the International Museum of Art. Oh yeah, cool. Let me go back to my notes. And that's actually going on today. I think it started on the 18th. That's the International Museum of Art. They have a movie festival, and I get a lot of information here online, but all it really says is International Museum of Art, and it's just 4 classical films directed by major stars, and that's all the information I have. Obviously, if you're interested in that, every once in a while, I have been kind of really intrigued in some of the classic movies. So it's really cool to be, if you're interested in that. Every once in a while, there's one that'll catch your attention, and it's good movies. I mean, some of the thing that older movies have is that they didn't rely, obviously, with it being a classic movie, they couldn't rely on a lot of special effects. Even at their time, they had a lot of their own kind of version of special effects, which is whether it was maybe a camera trick or lighting trick or maybe some props or whatever. And that's kind of the cool thing about some classic films or even just some modern films that are a little bit older, which is where you'll hear this a lot with the what was it, the Oscars or the Emmys that just went by, the SAG Awards, I think, which is you get a lot of these people that are like purists or whatever, and with that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole farmers market, which is there was a guy that made a comment about the Marvel movies that they do rely heavily on CGI. But, to each their own. What you can do with CGI, you can see all these superheroes doing this crazy things. And on the other hand, whenever you watch a classic film or an old movie or even just a straight movie that is trying to leave out some special effects, you do get a lot of very good acting. And, I can see both sides of it. I certainly enjoy all my superhero movies. But yeah, that's one of the things that, like I said, if you're interested in classical films, that's one of the things that draws you to it. You can actually see very good actors in it. So yeah, that's going to be the first event, and that's actually going on right now. I believe it started on the 18th, and it goes on every day at the International Museum of Art, starting at 2, and it goes on every day this whole week, actually, until the 26th, which is Sunday. So yeah, International Museum of Art, 1211 Montana. So go Google it, go look for it, and go enjoy some movies. Some classical films. All right then, and that's actually pretty much the thing that's going on during the day. On the evening, we have a lot of more events. We're gonna have the UTEP women's basketball at the Don Haskins at UTEP, obviously at UTEP, and that's gonna be starting at 7 p.m. They're at the Don Haskins Center at UTEP. That's women's basketball. And that is, I actually have here, it's the Miners versus the Rice Owls. And that is not Rice Owls, that is actually the Owls from Rice. Tickets are $5. Moving on, Plaza Theater has a tribute, the ultimate Beatles tribute. So it's a tribute to the Beatles. Called the Fab Four. Tickets range from $25 to $55. And a Beatles fan, you could go check those guys out over at the Plaza Theater Thursday at 7:30. The Fab Four Ultimate Beatles tribute at the Plaza Theater. Moving on, at the comic strip. This is also one of those events that's going to be going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The comic strip is going to be having Adam Hunter. And he's going to be starting over there also at 7:30. So if you're not either somebody that wants to go see sports or a concert, we all like laughing, right? So you could go check out some comedy there at the comic strip. Here on Thursday. Well, actually the whole weekend starting on Thursday. And then moving on from that, also on Thursday, Speaking Rock. Speaking Rock is going to be having a pop country music group. That is the Abe Mac Band. And that is starting at 8 here at Speaking Rock. And then, let me see. And then we're moving on to Friday. That was pretty much it for Thursday. So we're going to move on to Friday. Let me go. I have to get some water here. Sorry. There we go. I don't want to clear up my throat here. And on the microphone, right? Imagine. That's what, I'm doing all the bad habits of podcasting. Anyway, so Friday, Actually, there's not a lot of things going on Friday, which is kind of weird. You know, the Friday is a good day to go out. Like I said, this weekend I haven't seen the forecast, but I'm assuming it's going to be. We might even get some rain from. I mean, just based on right now, it'll probably be cold and rainy and all that. So yeah, Friday. One of the only things that I really have that you could probably take your whole family to would be just the Rhinos hockey game that is starting at 7 at the Oklahoma Coliseum, El Paso County Coliseum. And that's going to be El Paso Rhinos versus Oklahoma City Blazers. And I do believe those are also going on Friday and Saturday. And I think Sunday as well. That's going to be at 7 on Friday. It's 7 on Saturday. And on Sunday, it's at 4:30, actually. So Sunday's different. But, look it up, Google it, or all that good stuff. And that's actually one of the only things that's kind of going on Friday. Other than, Sullen Park, obviously the comic strip. A lot of the other restaurant bars around El Paso have a lot of they all have music nights on Friday. A lot of these places. I know I hadn't been to this place and it's been open for a long time. But my girl actually took me there. It's actually called the Shack. The one closest to us is over here, right here by, what is it, Zaragoza, close to 375 on the northern side. And it's actually pretty cool. They have like a barbershop and it's like a sports bar and they have a patio. Obviously, right now with the patio, it would probably be pretty empty. Just, because I just keep repeating the weather to you guys because you can't see out your windows. I don't know. Do you have a window at your office or at your place of employment? I do. I work outside, and I work nights, so I get to brunt it. Take the brunt of the cold weather. But yeah, on Fridays, a lot of places have their own thing. They have a lot of their vibe. Obviously, it's a good place. People just want to get out of work and enjoy their time with maybe some buddies and stuff, and especially with all the sports stuff going on right now. My big one is the Super Bowl. That's always, it's always going to be, I believe it should be kind of treated like a holiday, where you get maybe the Monday off or, your boss takes it easy on you on that next Monday. Because it should be, it's a big, it's pretty much a whole day ordeal, right? As well it should be. It's the only game of the year where it's a big event. For everybody, even people that don't like football. Even for the halftime show this year, it seems like it's going to be a good one. I'm certainly going to talk about it these next couple of weeks, just before it. Is everybody else like me that nobody watches the Pro Bowl? Is that just like a friendly game? But yeah, the big one is obviously the Super Bowl with the Chiefs and the 49ers going on, and I've seen all the memes going around that everybody's just happy that the Patriots aren't in it. Which, yeah, that's good, but everything comes to an end. That's always happened. Every team, that's always happened. They have their few years, and then they're very good, and then they suck, and then they don't make it. Except if you're the Browns. If you're the Browns, you've never been. I'm sorry. But yeah, hey, you never know. It's still young. 50 is the new whatever. 30 is like the new 60 because we're all starting to feel our bodies crumbling down. But 50, some of these 50-year-olds are looking really young. Anyway, so moving on to Saturday. Saturday is kind of the good days for, again, farmers markets and garage sales and all the good stuff. And this Saturday we have the starting. Well, it's not very early because it's cold. Obviously, we're gonna have the downtown farmers market, and that's gonna be starting at 10, going on till about 2 at the Union Plaza here in downtown. And then at 1, you're gonna have some more basketball, a lot of more stuff going on. You're gonna have more basketball starting at 1, actually, not 2. Yeah, it's starting at 1. They're at the Don Haskins, the women's UTEP basketball. And then moving on from there, after the game, you could probably go over to the Sullen Park, and they're going to be having their Tequila Margarita Festival over on the Sullen Park Racetrack and Casino. Or you could also keep going to some more sports, and you could go watch the other El Paso Rhinos game. Let's see. And then, a lot of these continuing games, right? Like the basketball and the hockey one. It's kind of like baseball. So moving on to that later, you could start winding down your night, and you could go either. Also, you could stay. You could do some gambling at Sullen Park and all that good stuff. But also, Speaking Rock is going to have a tribute to Jenny Rivera. And again, winding down your Saturday, there's a lot of other stuff that I'm obviously not able to catch, just because I'm underprepared and I'm not very good at this. But also because there's a lot of stuff that I can't either find online or anything like that. So there's a lot of things that I'm obviously not covering. Also it's is that Saturday? Yeah, it's also and this is actually something that I see. One of the events that I try to follow a lot are the El Paso Punk Rock Flea Market. A little shout out to them over on the Facebook. El Paso Punk Rock Flea Market. I do try to follow Kaleidoscope. They're actually the ones that hosted the Krampus Fest. And those are some of the ones where they do a lot of their art markets, where it's very stuff. Actually, last year, that's where I got my first picture. Was it what was it at? I don't know if it was a punk rock, but it was one of those arts market where I actually got a picture in a small frame of the Sarco. We used to drive when I was younger. We used to drive by it pretty much. Was it every day? Yeah, we used to drive through it, just going back and forth to school and stuff. We used to drive through it almost every day. And yeah, I know this the whole story about it. It's pretty dangerous and all that stuff. But one of the things where I used to see it when I was a little kid, and it's one of those things that I'll remember from when I was a little kid, where it's when it was knocked down, it just felt like, like something else. It felt like something bigger than it really was. But yeah, I think a lot of people around that area had health issues, and people died from stuff like that. But like I said, it's one of those things that it was kind of a staple from where it was. So anyway, to move on to the events on Facebook, actually, which that's what I didn't want to miss. The art actually, it's going to be a morning one. That's going to be from that's on Saturday from 10 in the morning to 4. And they already have the forecast here also. And it's going to be pretty cold. It's going to be around 40 degrees to around 60 degrees. So you're still going to have to, you'll probably take a heavier jacket. 39 degrees, 40 degrees. That's still pretty cold. So you're going to want to bundle up pretty good. Maybe a couple jackets. That way you could have something lighter to take off, even though it's still going to be cold. Plus, you never know with the wind. The wind here in El Paso is, which really, I'd rather deal with the wind than with slick roads and all that. So yeah. So yeah, it's going to be It's Too Cold for This Shit art show and market. And that's hosted by the El Paso Punk Rock Flea Market. And that's taking place at Undisputed Craft House at 1881 Saul Kleinfeld. And if you just go to your Facebook, which I'm sure everybody has, and just go to El Paso Punk Rock Flea Market. Or even flea market. Even if you just go to either events or even search, you just type in flea market. I'm sure it'll come up there. And you can't miss even their logo. I really enjoy their logo. Logos are a big part of, especially local things. Logos are cool. And the El Paso Punk Rock Flea Market has like a skull with like, is it like Bat Wings? I think kind of looks like the that one band. You know which one I'm talking about. And I had another one on here, but it seems like that's the one that I saved. It was right at the top. And like I said, we have a lot of other events. You should probably take it upon yourself, and I'm going to try to make it better. This is the very first episode after my little hiatus there. So it'll keep growing a little bit there. Just in terms of the smaller local things, which is, it's really enjoyable. Like I said, that's where you find all your cool things. So yeah, I think that's the one that I really kind of wanted to get to. Oh, actually, that's Rock House, the Rock House Bar and Grill. They're actually going to have a Battle of the Bands also on Saturday, and that's going to be starting at 8 p.m. going on to almost midnight. And that's actually at the Rock House Bar and Grill, 9828 Montana. And you can't miss it. That's a pretty cool place. And they're going to have a Battle of the Bands. Doors open at 8, $5 in advance, $7 the day of. So, if you're around there and you want to get your tickets right now or before Saturday, you could save a couple bucks. Very good couple dollars so you could spend on a beer. Or maybe some appetizers or just another beer, right? If you're going to be watching some bands. I actually know a couple of the dudes that played there. They actually have the name of the bands here. Let me look at that. There it is. The picture, the little program. And I'll try to share this again on the Facebook. I'll try to give them, try to help them make... sell a little bit more tickets. And they're going to have a Steel Lake, Astral Descent, Counterplay, Face the Mirror, and is that Acumulación de Cuerpos? Accumulation de Cuerpos? How do you say it? Yeah? Acumulación de Cuerpos, right? It's like the bodies. Like dead bodies, maybe. So yeah, it's going to be going on at 8 on Saturday at Rock House Bar and Grill. Battle of the Bands. And I think that's actually the last one that I wanted to cover. Yeah, those were two the big ones that I wanted to cover for Saturday. So moving on to Sunday, last but not least. Sunday in the morning. If you're not one of those people that goes out on Sundays, or if you don't go out, if you don't go out Saturday nights, and if you're not a crazy party people, or if you're one of the few crazy people that does go out Saturday nights, but you still wake up early on Sundays, which is something I do, because Sundays is a good day to have free and do kind of your own, kind of keep to your own. But if you're one of those crazy people that goes out and actually works out, which, more power to you, and I actually envy you, because I can't wake up, especially for a hike and all that. Although it seems fun, and hopefully I'll be able to do it. I haven't done it thus far. But there's going to be at the Weiler Aerial Tramway, there's going to be a Sunday hike, and that's going to be free, and that's going to be starting nice and early at 7:30 in the morning on Sunday, January 26th. That is the last Sunday hike for January 2020. Last Sunday hike at the Weiler Aerial Tramway. And go join them. Please be safe. Take plenty of water. Take a jacket, because I don't have the forecast here for that day, but based on the Saturday night, that's going to be a cold morning, especially if you're going to be going up the mountains and all that good stuff. So take some good shoes and insulate yourself pretty good. Take some water, maybe a couple snacks, and go and enjoy some hiking. Also, going on after the hike, you could start enjoying your Sunday. You're going to have some menudo or some family time, maybe start seeing what you're going to do later that day, maybe have a beer at your house and enjoy the end stretch, the final stretch of your weekend. And you could start going to, again, some of the same or similar events are going on. You're going to have the El Paso Rhinos also playing against the Oklahoma City Blazers. And then you'll have Sunland Park Casino, Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino. They're gonna have Mariachi Real de Jalisco, so you could go enjoy a little bit of mariachi music. I actually like also like the Speaking Rock. I think they still do the Mariachi Tuesdays, which that's actually pretty fun. It's a good time. I'll actually try to see if I could go there tonight. I didn't look it up, but if you go, you'll probably see me there. And yeah, that's pretty much it for. Actually, one last one. Speaking Rock on Sunday is also going to have. It's a D band, and that is actually did I read it? I'm trying to find it. That is a pop variety music group, and pop variety music group, that usually means it's some mellow music, and sometimes it's a very danceable music, almost kind of like cumbias. So that's going to be at 7, going on till about 10 at Speaking Rock Casino. That is D band. Let's take a peek on Monday. I still have I don't have any more time, but also Speaking Rock on Monday, they're gonna have Ingrata Pop, which is they have a variety of English and Spanish rock, and all these Speaking Rock events are free to attend, stuff like that, which also frees you up to buy some drinks or buy some food there. I know they added a lot of bars or counters where you could purchase a lot of food, and that's actually really kind of nice. And their food is pretty good. So, go out, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the rest of your week. You'll probably be hearing this sometime around Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. I'm not going to try to how you live your life. But yeah, so again, welcome. Thanks for having me back. Now we're starting this, full force forward. 2020, new year, new whatever. But I'm actually not just going to try. This is actually just, my schedule just matches up a lot. Like I said, I didn't want to say that, I'm out truck driving, I'm out, or anything like that. Since, I'm talking about local things. I want to be here. And like I said, now I actually have a chance to go to a lot of the morning stuff, and every once in a while, I'll have a chance to go to the night stuff. And hopefully I'll be seeing you there. You'll be seeing me. Hopefully I'll start getting to know some of the people hanging out and taking care of some of these events. So yeah, go out, enjoy yourselves, take care of your family, enjoy some family time with friends, and just be good to each other, have some fun, be safe. And don't forget to subscribe or follow me on Twitter or Google, actually not Google, it's just YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. This is a big 3. And you could find me on all 3 at Amp El Paso. And yeah, so keep following the podcast. We'll see you next week. And there's a lot of stuff coming up. There's a lot of stuff coming up starting February. Here in the next couple weeks, there's a lot of stuff going on. This one was a slow week. And it makes sense because we're all recovering from the holidays. We're trying to get back. We're still trying to get back in the groove of things. So this one does seem a little bit like a slow week, and get some rest. Take care of yourselves. You don't want to get anything. You don't want to spread around any flu, any cough, anything. You don't want to get a cold or whatever. I think we're right in the middle of the big flu season here also. So take care of yourselves. Be clean. Wash your hands, and all that good stuff. Bundle up, especially today. Or always, just always have a little jacket in your car or something. It always catches us off guard, and that's actually how I always end up getting sick, which I was able to avoid this year. So follow, subscribe, and keep in touch through Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at ampelpaso.com. I'm going to be talking about some other few things that I got coming up, some other ideas that I'm going to try to push on you guys and hopefully get you more involved and out and about and to enjoy your time here in El Paso. And come on, this is going to be a great year. I can already tell. All right, so I'll see you guys next week, bright and early here toward the middle of next week. So go out and enjoy your week. Go out and enjoy your weekend. Be safe. And I'll see you guys later.